Hey guys, it's Larry Greenberg. Today we're going to take a look at the Speck CandyShell Flip for the iPhone 4. This case comes in 4 colors, comes in gray, pink, black, and white, and it sells for $34.95. Now I'm a big fan of the Speck CandyShell case, and I was really disappointed when I got the CandyShell for the iPhone 4, and I found out that I was unable to use it in my dock. I use a Griffin simplified dock for my iPhone. I also use an iHome bedside clock radio, and with the iPhone 4 CandyShell, because of the small cutout for the 30-pin dock connector and the overall beefiness of the case, you're unable to use it with a dock. Well, Speck recognized that problem, and they've recently released this case to allow people that do use a dock to dock their CandyShell case. And let me show you how it works. It's pretty similar in design to the regular CandyShell. Feels just like it, kind of looks like it, but it obviously has one unique feature that makes it, different, and that's this flip up bottom. So as you can see, it's kind of hinged here, and when I put it on, it'll make sense. But basically, putting it on your iPhone, put it on just like you do any of the CandyShell cases. I always like to do button side first and then pop the bottom half on. It's pretty easy to install, actually easier to install than the regular CandyShell. And there's the look once you have it all together. So once it's all snapped in, kind of looks, like I said, from a quick glance, just like the regular CandyShell. The obvious difference on the front, you do have these 2 little notches here where the bottom part of the case comes together with the top. So you're obviously sacrificing a little bit of look to gain the functionality of the flip case, because you have these little cutouts here, but you still get a tremendous amount of lay on the table design on the front, just like you do with all the CandyShell cases. On the bottom, there's the cutout. Now you don't have to use the flip if you just use the cable and you're not using a dock. There's no need to flip it down. They still give you the cutout for the 30-pin dock connector, the speaker, and the microphone. But again, the key feature to this, when you want to use a dock, you flip this bottom part off by prying the corners, and now you can actually stick this into a dock. Now, it doesn't work with every single dock. You're going to kind of have to test it based on what devices you use that have the dock adapter built in. Because when you flip this up, depending on how much clearance you need to get your phone to dock, your mileage may vary whether you get it to work. Now, I tested it with both my Griffin Simplify and my iHome clock radio, and it worked with both of those. With the Griffin, I did have to flip this up all the way to get it to go in, but it still worked. So when you're not using it in a dock, flip it back down and you're good to go. So on the side, everything else is just like the regular CandyShell. You still got the nice silicone reinforced buttons for the volume, and then the large cutout for the vibrate switch. On the top, the traditional silicone or rubber button for the sleep awake, and the same large cutout for the headset jack. There's the back. They do have the new camera lens cut out on this one with the little black insert, so there's no problem with the flash. And of course the Speck logo. Now this kind of rubberized band going across the back, you don't have that on the regular CandyShell, you have that on this, and that's kind of the flex point. Almost looks like a rubber band for when you flip up the back. That's what kind of takes the impact of that. So a couple things to note. I already mentioned little cutouts there. There's also the problem of it being loose on the sides right here. Because it's kind of hanging on to nothing. Not really an issue when you're using it. You just kind of always know it's there. I don't notice it moving when the case is in my hand or anything like that. So I do like this case a lot. Do I like it better than the regular CandyShell? The answer is probably no, but I'm going to use this instead of the regular CandyShell because I utilize so many devices that have a dock. I would say if you never use a dock, there's no reason to use this, and you like the CandyShell, go with the regular CandyShell. However, if you're a dock user, if you use any kind of device that has a dock, I would go for this instead. Still gives you the overall, feel and look and design of the regular CandyShell, but obviously has that added benefit of allowing you to flip the bottom up and put it in a dock anytime you so choose. So unfortunately at this moment, this case is off the Speck website. They took it down. Apparently it was launched too early or something like that. I'm not really sure the exact problem, but I've been told by Speck that it should be back on any day, maybe even back on now when I've uploaded this video. If not, it'll be back up soon. Available for $34.95. I'll put a link to the Speck products website in the video description. Just check there for this case to reappear, and you can go ahead and order yourself up one. So that's all for the Speck CandyShell Flip. If you have any questions about this case or anything else, you feel free to drop me a line. Otherwise, you have a great day.